Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best DSLR camera.
Starting at number 5.
Canon EOS R50. The Canon EOS R50 is the best camera for photography if you're on a tighter budget. It's a great choice for beginner photographers thanks to its simple and intuitive controls and various auto-shooting modes that allow novice photographers to play around with different photography styles. On top of that, it has a highly accurate and easy-to-use autofocus system, and it's very portable for travel or street photos. Unlike the Canon EOS M50 Mark II, which it effectively replaces, this is also a good camera to grow with since it uses the same lens mount as full-frame Canons like the Canon EOS R6 Mark II. That means you can use both APS-C and full-frame lenses with the R50, making it easier to upgrade to a full-frame body later. The Olympus OMD EM10 Mark IV is another great budget option, especially if you want the more portable Micro Four Thirds system. There's a well-established lineup of lenses, as well. That said, its autofocus system is much less reliable than the Canon cameras, and the camera is a bit less suited to low-light shooting because of its smaller sensor.
Coming at number 4.
Fujifilm X-S10. If the Sony α6-700 is out of your price range, consider the entry-level Fujifilm X-S10. It's the predecessor to the Fujifilm X-S20 mentioned above and sits at a lower price point. While the X-S20 offers some notable improvements, particularly on the video side of things, the X-S10 still has plenty to offer for photographers. It uses the same sensor, so image quality is comparable, with the same excellent color science for out-of-camera JPEGs. It's also one of the few models at this price point to offer built-in stabilization. That said, the X-S10 uses an older version of Fuji's autofocus that is even less reliable. It's not bad for most subjects, but can struggle with faster subjects. If you need better autofocus, the Sony α6-400 is another good entry-level choice, though it lacks IBIS and has a poor user interface. On the flip side, the Nikon Z50 is a more intuitive alternative, with excellent ergonomics, though it lags behind in video specs and offers fewer lens options.
At number 3.
Sony α6700. The Sony α6-700 is the best mid-range camera we've tested for photographers. This hybrid model uses a 26MP crop sensor and captures fantastic image quality. It's also relatively portable, with a fairly compact body that you can easily take on the go, and has an excellent battery life. In addition, it has one of the best and most reliable autofocus systems on the market, with sophisticated subject detection and tracking, not to mention in-body image stabilization and a wide selection of native and third-party lenses to choose from. If you don't want to fiddle around with RAW files as much, consider the Fujifilm X-S20 instead. Fujifilm is known for its excellent JPEG color science and film simulation profiles, making it a good choice for those who prefer to take snapshots straight out of the camera. Like the α6-700, it had IBIS to help you shoot handheld at slower shutter speeds, and it has great ergonomics. However, its autofocus isn't as effective as Sony's AI-driven AF, so it's less suited to very fast subjects like sports or wildlife.
Number 2 of my list.
Fujifilm X-T5. If the Sony α7 IV is a little out of your price range, the Fujifilm X-T5 is a fantastic choice at a lower price point. With a 40-megapixel APS-C sensor, it's one of the best cameras for photographers interested in landscapes or portraits, giving you plenty of leeway to crop and edit your photos. While it isn't as well suited to low-light shooting as full-frame alternatives, the detail and image quality you can get out of this camera is hard to beat at this price point. The camera also honors Fujifilm's photography-oriented roots with vintage-style exposure dials that make it a breeze to adjust your settings on the fly and a 3-way tilting screen that's incredibly versatile for waist-level shooting and street photography. It's also quite portable. If you're looking for a more robust camera with better ergonomics for studio work, you might prefer the Fujifilm X-H2. It uses the same sensor as the X-T5 but has a bigger body and additional benefits for hybrid or video shooters, like a full-sized HDMI port and CF Express card slot. However, it's a bit pricier and less portable.
And number 1.
Sony Alpha 7. The Sony Alpha 7 IV is the best camera for photography that we've tested. It's a very well-rounded hybrid model that sits just shy of pro territory. Improving upon the highly popular Sony Alpha 7 III, it has a new 33MP sensor that captures highly detailed photos and gives you plenty of leeway to crop and make edits. Sony's real-time autofocus is also spectacular, with very reliable subject detection and tracking to keep moving subjects in focus. That said, it isn't a perfect camera by any means. Yes, it has in-body image stabilization, IBIS, but we've seen more impressive stabilization implementations. If you want to shoot uncompressed RAW files, the camera's max burst rate drops to 6 frames per second, which is slightly disappointing for high-level sports or wildlife photography. The comparable Canon EOS R50 Mark II has it beat in that respect, with 12 frames per second burst shooting, or up to 40 frames per second in electronic shutter mode. However, the wide selection of glass available for Sony's E-mount, including plenty of third-party lenses at various price points, gives the Alpha 7 IV an edge.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.